Okay, I'm back. I'm back. Maybe I think I pulled. I think I pulled too hard on that. But Brandon, congratulations. That's a great bass. If I catch that this weekend coming up, I will win big bass. Pretty sure. Hopefully. So I'm back. I'm back. Um, so, oh yeah, well, I'm going to spool this. And at the same time, I'm going to. I need to do a little maintenance. I actually use this to lubricate my reels, hot sauce, reel oil, and quantum PT reel oil. So molecular lubricant. Now the nice thing about my kastking Crixus Armor X is that it has a lubrication port. So I just remove the little screw, put a couple drops of this in there, and it relubes all the gearing in it. So whenever I respool, I relubricate. So, and there's a little bit of a squeak every once in a while that comes from it, so it needs to be relubed. And nice thing about those lubrication ports is it just makes it a whole lot easier. On my other reels, I kind of have to take it apart and do this. So when I do this, this will be, I might do it today, might do it tomorrow, I don't know. Everything's still out in the truck, and I need to give myself a little break because my hand, I have literally cut up my hand. I always think it's the fish's blood, but it's not. It's my blood, and because I'm on blood thinners, because my my blood clots and stuff, that I bleed like water comes out of me, and so whenever I cut myself up, I have all this blood down there. And I finally purchased a first aid kit for my kayak. I know. I think a bleeder would have a first aid kit, but finally this week I bought a first aid kit. I will recommend too. The first thing you buy when you buy a kayak is an anchor, and a good anchor, not one of those little folding ones. Those things are lousy. You need something, substantial, in order to keep yourself situated. And that's what I would tell the subscriber. He finally got himself an anchor, but he bought one of those little folding ones. And we were on a river, okay, and it wasn't doing much for him, poor guy. And I should have given him my stake pole. I do have a stake anchor because the river was fairly shallow. So he could have just stuck that in any kind of ground he could penetrate. Although it was rocky bottom, and he would have been fine. So I have that in my truck. I also posted a video this last week on sort of a rod rack in the back of my truck. Real simple, just some scrap lumber and some remnant of carpet. And it works out really, really well. I can lock up all my poles. They're not in my way when I drive because, they still have to poke through the reach-through window, but, it's behind me now. So it's really nice. I did clean up my kayak. I did put a short little video on my kayak, my Moken. Did it on my tablet. So it's kind of groovy looking, I guess. I don't know. Special effects. So the next lake I'll be visiting is Dog Lake. I hear it's hitting really well on crappie right now. And I love crappie. You can catch as many as you want, and they eat so well. So Dog Lake is about a little over 2 hours from here, due east of here. And I hear it's doing really, really well right now. So Dog Lake will be my next local lake-ish of lakes of Southeast Oregon. And if you follow, this year I'm shooting to hit. I want to hit all the lakes of Southeast Oregon. When some of these lakes uh, thaw, okay, and warm up because the higher elevation lakes are still thawing. And those lakes, I'll be hitting those. So as I go up to Bend, Oregon, which is an hour and a half or so north, there are a lot of lakes up in Bend, Oregon, near there. And I may just do a camping trip up there and just hit like 3 lakes on a weekend, like Friday, Saturday, Sunday, actually, I don't even have to do that. I can go whenever I want. So I could go like a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and just hit 3 lakes up there. So I'm looking forward to, sort of a 3-day trip up in near the Three Sisters. It's also there's a ski resort up there and stuff like that. I haven't gone up there and explored. Um, but this week is National Parks Week, so you can visit any national park for free this week, which is really cool. So if you want to fish a national park, you can do that. If you want to, and if you're in Oregon, the river's free up this week on Thursday. So normally you have to be an indigenous person, an Indian, to fish these year round. But the Williamsons and the Wood River, which is up here, open up this week, and that's very exciting. I want to float the Wood, and that'll be a full day float for about 9 miles, and so I do have that subscriber. He's got a nice truck, so we might park one truck south, low, and then drive another truck north, put in, and then float the river and fish it down to the other truck, and for the 9 miles. And so that'll be fun. I want to do more river fishing this year, and I would love to do an overnight river fishing like the Willamette. The Willamette is in central Oregon, and it's a great overnight, expeditious, adventure. Fairly easy river to navigate and to use on a kayak, like class 1, maybe class 2 rapids. And you're able to, we'll do like an overnight camping trip on the Willamette this year. And I do have a friend that wants to do that. So again, park one spot, where we're going to take out, drive up to the put-in spot, and for 2 days work. I know, I pulled this thing. So this year I want to do an overnight, camping trip on the Willamette. And so we do a lot of really cool adventures this year on the kayak. And, a lot of it has to do with my health. So right now I'm just finishing, my prednisone treatment for my lungs. And that usually gives me about 2 weeks of relief, relative. And I'm able to exert myself without suffocating. So I have to schedule, a treatment, and about a week after that treatment, I can go on these trips and not really worry too much about me. So, but I need to get my outriggers, my yak gear done. I need those. Hopefully, those guys have good customer service. I don't know, and they'll contact me tomorrow. If not, I'll give them a phone call and try to get that part in by Thursday, so I can have my outriggers for the event next week or this week, Friday. I'll drive up there, and what a great time I do at this time is round the docks for spotted bait. Yeah, you know what? I love going to Ventura Marina. You go to Ventura Marina, and you will catch spotted bass. You'll catch flounder. You'll catch cod. You'll catch all sorts of stuff right in the marina. Go to some of my playlists, or you might want to type in Ventura or something like that, and you'll see a pot of dolphins. Actually, we were pulling up mackerel like crazy. You should go to the Ventura Marina. Really a fun marina. It's huge. Lots of areas that you could fish in. Ventura Marina is a great marina to just kayak fish in. and we were pulling up mackerel. Like, in fact, our fish finder looked like there was a whale underneath there. I mean, it was just huge. The fish finder, those were all mackerels. They were just all mackerels. We were just pulling them up, and you could have a great time at the Ventura Marina. Really good time. That was one of my favorite spots to fish. Saltwater was the Ventura Marina, and because I mean it's big. They got expensive homes and they got waterways through it and stuff like that. You would have a good time there. Really good time. More better than Long Beach. Long Beach isn't very good. It's just nasty anyway. But yeah, you can go down to La Jolla or something like that. Yeah, but Ventura is a really nice. It's got a good pier, which you can fish from the pier. No license required either when you fish from the piers. Any pier, when you fish from it, doesn't require a fishing license. But if you fish from the pier, you can catch a ton of fish there too. And they got a nice boardwalk. A lot of shops, restaurants, things like that. Yeah, nice. You'd like it. That's Bello. That's my cat. So he's a big old. If you guys had to have seen Bello before, that's my Norwegian forest cat. He's still growing, believe it or not. And right, he probably got another pound or two to put on. You're about 23 pounds now, but he's big. You are a big giant cat, big cat, huh? Mwah. And he thinks he's a dog. So I need to continue leash training him. He's actually doing well. I walk him in the neighborhood, and then I want to take him down the street to the lake, Uwana, and put him on the kayak. He's getting so big, I have to create sort of a bed for him on my kayak in a shelter, and that he fits in. Oh my goodness, he's huge. So I need to create sort of a habitat on the front of my kayak for this cat. So if I can get him trained, and get a life vest for him, he can go fishing with me. And he's my cat yacker. So very cool. I mean, he's a great cat. I would tell anybody with a family, because he requires a lot of attention, to buy a Norwegian forest cat. Yeah, well, he needs a really large milk crate. Now, the front of my kayak has a big cavity, a reach-through hatch. So what I'm thinking about is opening that up and creating a hammock inside of it. And he could just lay down on the nose, and maybe create sort of a windscreen on the front. And that's what I'm thinking about for him. And this way he would fit, but also protect him from any kind of wind or splashing or whatever. I was showing, Brandon, I was showing your fish, and I must have pulled the camera loose. It's a camera. So, and then I had to restart it. So that's why. But very cool fish. Very cool fish. Yeah, by the way, WJ, if you actually, if you haven't subscribed to Brandon's fishing channel, he's sort of, he's getting his channel up and running. He's fun. He tries to be very informative. He's going to start making his own baits, his plastic baits, which is going to be a lot of fun. And it's a fun channel. I mean, Brandon, you asked me why I do this. Why I do this is really just to share. I mean, just to share. I like talking fishing, and my family doesn't like listening to me. So you are my pseudo family, so I could talk fishing. Yeah, who listens to their dad anymore? Kids. But this week we're doing camping. The last time I went camping by myself is when we were newlyweds, and my wife went to visit her grandma and by herself, and I went I went to the lake and camped overnight and went fishing all night. That was last time. That was 30 some years ago. Yeah, yeah. I got a 20-year-old, 16 and 13-year-old. So yeah, who's dad? Yeah. Who's dad? So, I just, uh, we kind of lose our appeal after a while, I guess. So, but I would love to take, I tried to talk my son into going camping with me this week, and I could probably borrow a kayak from a buddy. Everybody here owns kayaks. I have one friend that owns 5. So I need to, hey, Jared, is going to have to deal with my fishing habits. Yeah, well, I go fishing a lot, Jared. I mean, I go fishing, 3 times a week minimum during the season here. And even when it was ice fishing, I did it twice a week. So I kind of do. And then you spend so much money. Oh, there's no such thing as a budget. There's no such thing as a budget. I want to support a children's event next month, but when you're on a fixed income, Kathy and I sort of have to talk. Okay, I want to give them $50 worth of merchandise. Where can we find this $50 or whatnot? But that's a nice thing about a kayak. Really low upkeep on a kayak. For $1,300, with all the fixings and fish finder and stuff like that. $1,300 for a personalized fishing vessel. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. And then your upkeep's nothing practically, unless you break apart on it like I did last weekend. So no, there's no such thing. What is a cheap hobby? It's relative. You know, Golf, not cheap. Snowboarding, skiing, not cheap. What is a cheap hobby? I can't think of one. What's a cheap hobby? No, there's no hobbies. There's no hobbies that are cheap. Um, I fish, camp, and do ham radio is cool. I have a lot of friends that do ham radio, but I never got into it. So, origami, yeah, yeah. I don't know. I've never tried origami, but it's probably you probably have special stuff. I don't know. Um, I do CG. I do computer graphics and 3D modeling. That's cheap once you get past the initial investment. Because really, I don't spend hardly anything on my computer graphics nowadays. $20 a month for Adobe, but that's about it. So the I have I don't know if you guys ever see my my graphics, but you see some of them. My intros and stuff I created, and some of the animations, the little subscribe button, that's all done. I did that. Where is this thing? I hate Apple. I don't like Apple. Apple, here, photos. So, look, okay. Okay, so this is sort of a Star Wars looking thing, space aliens and whatnot, but that's one. That's one of mine. It's all 3D, the whole environment, the buildings, the people, the animals, all 3D. And, that's pretty cool. I kind of don't put a lot on the tablet because it takes up so much space. And this lion, the hair was really, really hard. If you look at the lion, hair is a lot of surfaces. And that's really hard to do. So, yeah. Oh, I do animation. There's my little dragons, sort of political stuff. But I do so many. I do realism, science fiction, a lot of it, because I love science fiction. So, could you make me as? Yeah, I could. Easy, real easy. Yeah, I'll use your logo, and yeah, I'll send it to you. Do that in a week or so, and yeah, I like my little subscribing. My guy being chased by the shark. I kind of like it. He's fun, and say, oh yeah, I've got. There's sort of a Jedi. I did that as I do since I do gaming. I do avatars for people too, and so a lot of people have my avatars in gaming, and I like steampunk. Steampunk is really cool. So there's sort of like a flying junk through the clouds. So you can see sort of a flying junk through the clouds. See that? That's just, you know, something I do. So that actually, that's fun. And then my mermaids. I got mermaids. They are wearing something. You just can't really see them because they're silhouetted. But underwater scenes are very difficult to create in 3D. Getting the coral reefs, the depth of field, things like it's all about lighting and depth of field. For the most part. So that was one of the hardest things I had to learn. When I first had my health problems, I was bedridden and paralyzed and stuff. That I had to learn something. In order because I like art and I needed to so I could hold a mouse, but because I shook like this and I was doing this a lot, I couldn't do my normal art. And so I would actually hold my hand like this and work the mouse on the screen in order to teach myself computer graphics. And it's just doing things like that. There's another mermaid and a dolphin sort of play friends and whatnot. But dragons, I love dragons. I love fantasy. I do a lot of dragons and spaceships. Here's one with spaceships and a dragon and dragons. Talk about flying in a new world. That's pretty cool. And so stuff like that. That actually is a hobby that doesn't require, past the initial expense, doesn't require any money because now I can sit down, and just do a piece and work on it. And the nice thing about 3D is you can turn it, play with lighting, things like that. What kind of bait, if you don't mind? What kind of bait? You can't go wrong with night crawlers for anything. So if you like live bait, just go with night crawlers. This time of year, look at my catching bass in the spring video. This time of year, because the water temperatures are over 50 degrees and 60 degrees, you're going to be using plastics. Could be a wacky rig or lipless cranks or jerk baits. Those are all great. After spawn, I'm a topwater guy because I love watching the bass jump out of the water. So I use walking baits, and I'll just pull it across the water. This thing does this, and the bass just jumps right out of the water. I have not used Tokyo rigs. I haven't. I hear good things about them, Jared, but I've not used a Tokyo rig. So, yeah, well, frogs are really good. I do use frogs because a frog is essentially like a walking bait. It's just a different shape of one. It's a popping bait. And so, a frog works really, really well. I just I have Dogma 105. That's right. Well, this isn't it. This is a smaller, but this is a walking bait by 6 cents. Oh no, this is it. That's my walking bait because it's pretty well scarred up. This is my award-winning bait. This is the bait that I catch. I have caught more fish on this bait than anything else. More than wacky rigs, more than jigs, more than chatter baits, more than diving baits, jerk baits. When it comes to bass, this is the bait that I've caught. This is my award. This is the one that has had more fish on it than any other bait I've ever cast. So this is a Dogma, Dogma, by Sixth Sense. And it has a little bit of a cup indentation right here, which makes it pop. So as you walk it, it'll throw water in front of it. And I think it's this little bit of a divot that has made such a big difference in the way this thing, because you could get a Mag Dog bait, which is out in the car. But this is sort of a cross between a Mag Dog and a popper. So, because it has sort of a popper indentation here, and it's still a walking bait. This is the #1 bait. So if I could tell you to buy anything for spawn or post spawn, go to Sixth Sense and buy a Dogma, the bigger one. I think it's a 105 or one. Yeah, I think it's a 105. But don't buy the smaller one, buy the bigger one on the Dogma. And this one right here, hands down, the best one you'll ever own. And the hooks are not real big. They're just the right size. You got 3 treble hooks on it. Doesn't matter where they bite on that thing, it's gonna kill it. So I have 0% confidence on a walking hard bait. Well, that's because you never had a good one. Brandon, get the Dogma by Sixth Sense. It'll be fantastic. And you can cast it a mile, work so much of the shore or area with it. Oh my goodness. Let me see if I could find one, put the link down there. Hard baits, top water, Dogma. Dogma, top water. Here we go. Yeah, you get the 115. The 115 is the bigger one. I haven't had as much success with the smaller one, the 100, but the 115 is a killer. And it looks like they all 4 out of 6 of them are available. That's the thread fin shad, but the Ghost Pro shad or the Chrome thread fin would be just killer. So if you get one of those for $10, those are if you don't catch one with that, man, I don't know. So when you get your hands on my frog, you will throw away all your others and use my one. I will never throw away my Dogma, ever. But if I can find something else that hits top water, I mean, it is the best catch of your life is a top water. It just is. I mean, I don't care if it's 2-pound or a 1-pound bass. Watching them jump out of the water onto that bait is better than getting them underwater. It's just more exciting, and you can see that wake when you're pulling it. You can see the wake right behind it, and then you just pause it just for a second. Bam! It grabs it. I mean, that's exciting. You don't get that with an underwater bait. I cannot tell you that. So I'm in coastal Georgia. Yeah, I don't know where Brandon lives. I have a good idea. But he's a miner. So you can only ask a miner so much. Me, I'm an old guy. So, if you're ever in Klamath Falls, we'll go fishing. And I've had subscribers do that. I've actually had subscribers come to Klamath Falls when we've gone fishing. And it's so much fun. Micro Pro Fishing is up in Washington, and we're going to meet halfway, and I'll be fishing with those guys this year. Very excited to be with MPF. Those 4 guys look crazy. And then it looked like we can just have such a good time out on the water. Oh, you live in Georgia? Oh, you live in Georgia. So my sister lives in Atlanta, in Snellville. My sister lives in Snellville, Atlanta, near Atlanta. I don't know if you know where Snellville is, but sounds weird. Village of Snells. So that's where my sister lives. She's the oldest. She's really old. She's 9 years older than me, so she's really old. But she don't fish. I am the only. Well, my little brother fishes, but you don't want to go fishing with Nick. He's crazy, and he's crazy. Me, I have fun. Nick's crazy. So unless you have some kind of like hypodermic needle with some sedatives, you really can't handle my brother. Southeastern state. Really, Georgia is, huh? All right, Brandon. Hey, congratulations. Congratulations on that bass. That's fantastic. I hope to do something as good as that this weekend. Again, my personal best is only 4 pounds. So this area that I live in is known for trout. So this is a trout part of the country. The trout here is the bass there. But I will be fishing a bass lake this weekend in California. And hopefully I will get a personal best at least. Hopefully, it'd be nice to win the big bass. Getting a couple $100 is nice. I could sell. I can spend that on something. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. Keep us informed on your baits, and we'll see. We'll see if your frog is as good as you say it is. All right. But I will tell you that here on the West Coast, frog fishing is not as popular as it is on the West Coast or the East Coast, because there's just not a lot of lily pads here, and there's not a lot of frogging. But where I live here, there are more lily pads. In California, you have no lily pads. There are none in Southern California. So you don't use frogs for the most part. You use walking baits in Southern California. I mean, there's no lily pads in LA lakes. There's just not. I've never seen them. And and you might be able to go to the Delta in Northern California, maybe. But I've never seen them. Lily pads. It wasn't until I moved here that I saw lily pads on water. And lily pads are usually those are your prime frog areas. And so now I can use a frog and probably catch some bass. So, but yeah, you don't see them down south. You just don't. Yeah, Jared, you're in. Our other viewer, WJ, he lives in Southern Cal, and if you're still online, a lake with lily pads down there. I don't know where the lily pad lakes are in Southern California. I never saw it. And I'm from Central and Southern and coast, mid coast and Central Coast area. I never had them. So but up here, we'll do some frogging. I got some frogs. Yeah, no lily pads down there. You don't have lily pads in Southern California. So you can talk about frog fishing all you want, which you would, yeah. I mean, you just don't have them. I mean, you go to Castake, go to Pyramid, you go to Big Bear, you go to all these lakes down there. They are not there. All right, they're just not. And he's just not going to find it. So frog fishing is not big in Southern California because the frogs like to jump from lily pad to lily pad and rest on them and stuff like that. So, but like I said, on the Klamath River over in Keno, which is not far from here, about 20 minutes, there is a part of that river that has a lot of lily pads. And so I might go over there and do some frogging, frog fishing. Well, not frog fishing, fishing with frogs. So we'll see you, buddy. Yeah, go have fun. And thanks for chiming in. I really appreciate it. I love talking to you guys. So try Ventura out, Ventura Marina. You will absolutely catch a bunch of stuff there, and you'll have a great time, right? Especially in its mouth, the mouth of that marina. I mean, if you hook into a flounder, whew, you're in for a run. So, and they have sharks come in there too, which is kind of fun. So you get to catch a lot of good stuff in Ventura Marina. I actually love doing that. That really was a fun marina to just take the kayak out and just go fishing. So fun marina. And you can do some shopping, bring the wife, kids. They can go to the beach, go to the shopping, boogie board, whatever. You're going out fishing while they're doing their thing. So it's a family thing. See you, buddy. But yeah, so anyway, I think Dog Lake next, Lake of the Woods for sure, because they're doing trophy trout this week. If you look at my fishing reports for Oregon, you can see a lot of stocking and a lot of trophy. These guys put trophy trout in their lakes. These are 2 to 5 pound trout, and they just put bunches of them in there. This is not like in Southern California where they get a trout stocking and they're all 12 inches. All right, that's Southern California. They put thousands of pounds of fish in there, and they're all a half a pound. Yes, I do use wacky worms. I tried to use wacky worms yesterday in a non-bass lake, but the water was 57 degrees. I was really hoping the few bass were in it would hit, but I didn't get a bass. I was getting crappie. They weren't hitting the worm. So, but you look in the latest video, you can see the large tube jig I used, which also would catch bass. I ended up catching a crappie. But wacky worms work really well. They just do. I do have a good video on wacky worms and using little rubber bands. See these? These are all for wacky worms. So use these instead of, there's a link on my wacky worm video with the tool, and this comes with 350 of these and 2 tools for like $12. And which, well, worth it. I mean, just these are worth it. And that'll let your wacky worm, your stick worm, last for many, many catches. So instead of putting a hook through it, which would catch one, but you tear your worm and you got to replace the worm. So, and $5 for 10 worms, save you money. It'll save you money in the long run. So, but yeah, wacky worms, great setup. Just let that thing float, pull it up and yo-yo it, let it float. It requires great patience, which I'm not known for, but it requires great patience. The what other setups? So, I mean, drop shotting. I have a great video on drop shotting too. Using bobber stoppers for drop shotting. Using bobber stoppers for drop shotting allows you, if you do it the way I tell you to do it, you can still get a good hook set, and you can adjust your drop shot, your worm, different levels in order to get better hits. You put an 8-inch wacky worm on the hook and catch a 1 pound bass. Yep. Yeah, no, I've caught bass the same size as my lures. Yeah, they're pretty crazy here too. I mean, it's just nuts. I've actually caught little baby bass, same size as that dogma, and and I just, I don't know. But this is this one right here. This is a BFO baits. This guy makes them in his garage. He'll make it any color you want too. BFObaits.com, and he'll scent it just about any scent. And this is his Senor Frog. This one floats, but it's got a beautiful white belly, nice green top, good flex. And this one, I just work on top, or shallow, and try to get pro spawn Senor Frog. He's going to be used quite a bit. He's going to be good, I think. I hope. And what other? Oh, 6-cent stroker craws, lizards. I don't know. I just got so much stuff. It's not even all of it. And most of it's out there in the truck, my tackle. So, but it's amazing. I mean, you can spend too much money, that's for sure. I like using a black red fleck wacky here. Yeah, they oh, this is a really good. You can wacky rig this or even drop shot this. This is a really good worm. It's not real big, but it has a lot of good movement to it. And then you got this little guy right here. This guy's crazy. I mean, I only got one left. I think I put a few out in my tackle box. I'm not sure. I'm running out. Don't tell my wife. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. That's just what's up there. So today, today or tomorrow, probably tomorrow, put this on there. This 13, strand braid. I use this quantum hot sauce for my gear lubricant and get that reel all set up. I'm telling you, that 13 times looks incredible. And you just got, if you can, that thing's just so smooth. This thing's going to cast a mile. And it's stronger than steel, man. I mean, this thing is going to be crazy. Crazy line. If this, I don't know if I can do all my rods this way, because I really love the covert, this pure fluorocarbon, and this 6 pound or 8 pound. I would tell people to buy 6 or 8 pound of this stuff, because fluorocarbon is it's transparent in the water. You can't see it. It's got the same refractive properties as water, and it sinks. And so fluorocarbon is probably the best all-around line you can get. But if you also look at my Rocky Point video recently, because I forgot to loosen my drag after a snag, I ended up snapping the line, and I lost an 8 pound trout. Although you can see it in the water, but snapped the line. I don't think that trout could snap this line. I don't think he could do it. He'd probably come close, maybe, because there's some big trout. But if you look at Thursday, when you see my latest video, you'll see me catch a 21-inch red banded. Thing's killer. Thing looks like a shark in the water. It's like do-dum, do-dum, do-dum. And the thing just was awesome. Awesome. So you also see a 19-inch rainbow trout on that video. So very cool. So, but I had fishing's just picking up. Trout season starts this week, really. And you're going to see me catch a lot of trout this year. Hopefully a lot of bass too, because Willow Valley Reservoir, it should be at temp right now. And if it's at temp, I'll be able to catch. It's a shallow reservoir, but I happen to know that reservoir. I know where the bass are, and I'll be able to catch some nice bass over there. And then Lake of the Woods, I know where all the fish are there, but nothing big there except for their trophy trout when they put it in this week. A lot of stuff. Gosh. I mean, if you live, I know y'all live back east and you have lots of fishing holes back east with great bass, which I'm envious of. But here we got a lot of fishing holes with a lot of trout. And when you hook into a 30-inch trout, you might as well call it a stillhead, because it is a beast of an animal. And I catch and release. In fact, here you have to catch and release. It's a very protected area for trout. So they want you to keep only one, catch and release all others. And some of them you just can't keep. Like I think this week you could fish red-banded, but you can keep one. But in the Williamsons, you have to catch and release all your rainbow trout. And you can only use single hooks, can't use trebles, which is a new regulation for this year. Um, it's crazy. There's all sorts of rules about fishing here, but that's what makes it so exciting, to be honest. Makes it more exciting. And boy, some of the sunfish you can get here. I don't know y'all get some really cool fish back east, but the pumpkin seed sunfish can grow really big here. And that's a beautiful fish, the pumpkin seed sunfish. And Dog Lake is known for big crappie. So we'll go crappie fishing there. So anyway, thanks for joining me, Jared. And I know Brandon left and WJ's went to go pick up his kid, but thanks for kicking back with me a little bit. So I will see you guys out on the water. If I have cell signal, you'll be with me on the water. Yeah, but lakes around here and T-Mobile stinks. I don't get it. So anyway, you guys take care and have fun. Always have fun. Whether you catch something or not, make a friend, have fun, and just go out and just, I don't know. I'm a little obnoxious. So take care, everybody. Have fun.